I remember the date. It was September the 5th. It was a Thursday. It was this year. We were heading down to Toronto, me and my crew. We were in the car and we were talking about movies. Go figure. We were talking about the fact that there was a huge lack of originality in Hollywood these days. If you look at the top movies this year, everything seems to be sequels and remakes. Like, where is that originality? Where is that creativity that we're longing for, at least that I'm longing for? And it's as if the car was bugged, because the very first film that I saw in Toronto, 12 p.m. at the theater, was a little movie called Parasite. Now, I'd seen the trailers for it. I knew that it won the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival, which is their most prestigious award. I knew it was a big deal, but I didn't know a lot about it. And I walked out of that movie and I thought, the year was just saved. So before I get into the review, I want to say unequivocally, this is one of the best movies of the year, if not one of the best movies that I've seen in the last few years. And it definitely deserves to be on a list of films that you go and check out. Now, before we get too deep into this movie is a Korean film with English subtitles. For whatever reason, that turns a lot of people off. I don't understand why. If you can read a check, if you can read a teleprompter, if you can read a newspaper, you're going to be fine. Now, be that as it may, some people don't like subtitled movies, and if that's the case, believe me, you're missing out on this one. So this, usually when you talk about big movies and phenomenal movies, the initial question might be either what's it about, which we'll get to in a second, or who's in it. I couldn't tell you who's in it because these were all new faces to me. It's all, again, it's an Asian cast. It's filmed in Korea, I believe. It's a Korean film. This doesn't have my twin brother Denzel Washington or Meryl Streep, but it's okay. It is still a phenomenal movie. Let's talk about it. So in this film, we meet this extremely poor family. We're going to call them the have-nots. The have-nots are basically living in a terrible situation. They're extremely poor. They're stealing Wi-Fi from nearby restaurants. They're taking, dead-end jobs to make ends meet. Then the oldest, the son in the family, I was going to say the older son, but the only son, his friend comes to visit and says, hey, I've been tutoring this girl for this wealthy family, but I'm going away, and I'd love for you to take over the tutoring. So he gets himself dressed up, he heads over, and he starts tutoring the teenage daughter. When the mother says, you know what, our little boy really needs help, and I just haven't been able to find any teacher's assistant, to be able to help. And he's like, wait a minute, I know somebody. And the next thing you know, he brings in his sister. Slowly but surely, the have-nots start to insert themselves into the haves' lives. And it's very interesting. Some people say it's a thriller. Some people have said it's a home invasion. It's both of those things, but not in the way that you're used to. And just when you think you've got this movie figured out, it turns on a dime and something completely unexpected happens. Now, there's so many things that I love about this movie. The cinematography. When we're looking at scenes at the have-nots place, everything is closed in. Where when we go to the wealthy family, aka the haves, you're seeing broad scenes. So from a filmmaking standpoint, I thought it was very interesting. The slow burn in the pacing of this film, the fact that you think you know what's going to happen and then you realize you don't really know anything that's going to happen in this movie. One of the most original pieces of film that I've seen in a very, very long time. I'm shouting from the rooftops about this movie because I loved it so much. I strongly think and feel that this is going to be a movie that will be nominated for Best Picture. And quite frankly, if it's not, I don't even think the Academy Awards are worth watching next year. I am so impressed with this film. The director of this film is a gentleman by the name of Bong Joon-ho, who's made other films such as Mother and Snowpiercer, which have developed a strong audience on their own. This movie, without a shadow of a doubt, the most original film of 2019, one of the best films of 2019, a film that you should not miss, a film that you should run over people to get to the theater to check out. And I give this film an enthusiastic A. I loved it. I hope you have the chance to see Parasite. If you do, let me know what you think. CFL_fan on Twitter, Facebook.com/WittyWhittier and WittyWhittier.com. Thank you so much for checking this out. My name is Keith, and I'll see you at the movies.